I'm ready whenever the other two are.
I'm ready when everyone else is.
I'm ready whenever the other two are. Jnich's behest, I guess?
Ready when everyone else is.
Alright, Jnich's good to go. Then let's get this run started in 5, 4, 3, good to go 2, at Jnich's behest, 1, I guess? Go.
Sure.
Welcome to the best video Jnich's game good to go. Then let's get this run started in ever 5, created. 4, Metroid for the 3, NES. Tonight, 2, our 1, boy Jnich87 is going to be running 100%. Welcome to the best video game and probably the only video game ever created. Metroid for the NES.
Yeah,
tonight,
I mean, maybe some 100% death, but that's about
Jnich87
it
is going to
for
be
the most
running
part.
100% death is like a nice, meme category, diversion category. 100% deathless is where it's at. Agree?
Exactly.
So while Jnich's getting started here, let's go over what all we're going to be doing tonight. So 100%, we're going to do all the things. We are going to be collecting all 21 missile packs, 8 E-tanks, not just the 6 for your health bar, but all 8. Getting started here, let's go over beating both bosses, Ridley and Kraid before going to Mother Brain, and collecting upgrade, stuff like the Morph Ball, bombs, Varia suit, and both instances of the Ice Beam as a special note, because there's 2 of them, and we're going to grab them both.
Yeah, the route's pretty simple for the most part. You won't be able to see it.
I debate that, honestly.
Well, for the most part. Brinstar, Upper Norfair, Kraid, and Ridley are all just circles around the map, if you look at the route. For Deathless, at least. For Deaths, it's very much different. But for right now, we're just going to go to the missile so we can break into places like Ice Beam and grab the items in there.
Yep. And then the Deathless portion of the name, Jnich ideally won't be dying at any point ever. There's really only one segment of the run where it's even a, scare possibility. And we also won't be taking advantage of the up A. You can press up and A on the second controller while paused to basically fake a death. So gonna do all the stuff, gonna have none of the deaths. Right now, like Bridge said, going to get our first missile pack. This is the way most Metroid speedruns start. Anything that does Ridley before Kraid really goes this way right away. Solid missile RTA time there, I think. And now we're gonna head up to go get the Ice Beam.
Yeah,
Ice Beam number 1.
Yeah, Ice Beam number 1. This is like the only segment he could possibly die in. As soon as he gets the first E-tank, it's pretty much a guaranteed to not die.
Yeah, two E-tanks in Norfair can be a little bit scary if you have enough mistakes, but Jnich's good at video games, so I'm not particularly worried.
Yeah, no, Jnich's has been really great. He's been working his way up the leaderboards, and he's even got like a top 4 time, I think even. It's one of the only 4 people in the world to even get a sub 45, and he's cranking out some incredible times.
Yeah, I was in a bop war with him for a hot 2 weeks, and now his time is 3 minutes better than mine.
Jnich's a phenomenal runner. One thing you'll take note of really soon here is we're going to abuse a thing called the screen wrapping, which is when Samus is going to get stuck into a door, and then using a series of morphs and unmorphs can move Samus's position up. And then what this will do is, once you go up the screen, you'll eventually pop out the bottom of the screen, and that allows you to get to places you otherwise wouldn't be able to get to.
Yeah, that was a smooth wrap. That screen wrap, all that was really doing was skipping a bomb requirement check. There will be other screen wraps where we'll actually be, I guess, sequence breaking TM and going in unintended paths, but that one was just we didn't feel like going up to get bombs and coming back around. Speaking of getting bombs, we're going to pick up an E-tank along the way, but bombs is our next major objective. The tricky part of getting bombs is that we need 5 more missiles. So Jnich is going to be killing a lot of enemies on his way up to Upper Norfair, and basically just hoping for the best. With the way randomness works in this game, you can't really effectively predict. Nice frame-perfect trick from Jnich there. Casually, no big deal. Easy. But essentially the way randomness in this game works is every time you enter a room, the game picks a number of missile packs and a number of health drops and distributes them amongst the enemies. And once those run out, you have to leave and re-enter the room to get more drops there. So you can just get 0 missile packs for a room, and that's just that. But we're just gonna hope for the best. There's one. Nice little convenience that missiles come in packs of 2. So you actually have 1 free missile to use while trying to get your way up to bombs. Jnich will most likely be using that on a specific enemy in the bomb's room. That's a pain to kill.
Yeah. Well, I think he's
going in isn't horrible. It isn't great. It's not 0, that's for sure.
It's about above average.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. This is probably... I don't know. A lot of the Metroid speedrunning categories are relatively front-heavy with resets. You know, for categories like Kraid First, you have a straight, like, minute of wraps. There's another missile pack, so just 1 more.
Oop, there it is.
Got it without having to turn around. Honestly, that's good luck.
Yeah.
The beginning of 100% is really cruel, which is super unfortunate, but we have the bombs now, which means we can bomb jump and go through floors the intended way. Yeah.
For the most part. I still think we'll be using some tricks that with bombs that you normally would never use in casual gameplay. The most obvious case I can think of is to get the high jump, but we're a little far from that. Doing a nice ripper climb here that has been implemented recently, a couple months ago, into the wrap that saves like 4 seconds over the old one.
The fast climb is so good. This is what Jnich did there isn't unintended. It's basically like the hard way to get into this area. But I don't think they intended you to be able to do it that fast, and trust me, it's harder than it looks. There's E-Tank number 2 out of 8. And then just some nice movement in this section. This whole speedrun, this is 55 straight minutes of Metroid. And you're going to be noticing Jnich doing a lot of minor movement optimizations, you know, firing missiles across a room to open a bomb block early, or doing all sorts of little techniques with the morph ball just to try and get a little bit of an advantage, because that stuff adds up. But we're going to have our second wrap now. This is the wrap to Varia suit. Basically what Jnich is going to do is wrap to above this screen, then jump over some pits in the floor that you can't see while, again, above the screen, and then jump up to the door to the Varia suit and open it, and then walk on through the door. When you walk through a door out of, basically when you're out of camera, it'll reset the camera to where it should TM be. That's a trick that we're going to be using a couple times throughout this run. And here's Varia suit, which is going to have the damage that Jnich takes, which is good, because we have a really long stretch without E-Tanks, and there's no refill stations or anything like that in this game.
One thing I just like to add on the Varia wrap is it takes advantage, like hardcore advantage, of how well or how weird the out of bounds movement is in order to like jump up, because the height from where you can jump and the door is much greater than Samus's height without high jump. So what out of bounds does for this wrap is it allows you to go through walls that you can only travel through while jumping, and that gives you the extra height so you can jump up to the door and actually enter it in out of bounds.
Neat.
It's really weird.
I actually didn't know that. And now we're basically just cleaning up the rest of Upper Brinstar. Pretty much just on our way out at this point.
Yeah, there's nothing left in nothing left in Brinstar except for the Ceiling E-Tank and Longbeam, which we'll grab way later in the run.
Longbeam. Nice fall movement from Jnich here. And we're now basically going to go back where we were, past this first missile pack, and we're going to head into Norfair, which is going to be the longest stretch of the run. Not even counting the fact that we're going to go through it twice. Norfair's a lot.
Most of this run's actually Norfair, around 20 minutes of it gameplay-wise. One thing that is important to note throughout this run is you'll see Jnich not freeze some enemies or like delay a little bit. Here he didn't freeze this bug, and that's not a mistake. He did that intentionally. What that does is there's like item manipulation throughout the entire run, and depending on when one enemy is alive or which direction it's moving, you can manipulate the direction or existence of other enemies on different sides of the screen. So if you see any of that
different screens entirely.
Yeah, exactly. So if you see like any of that happening, most of the time that's usually not a mistake. and is just Jnich planning ahead for a more optimal room in the future.
Here's missile pack number 3 out of 21. Chad, I hope you're keeping count with me. And by keeping count with me, I mean acting as a challenge to my poor memory. And then we're going to head over to the left here and loop back around on the lower floor to get missile pack 4, aka my least favorite missile pack.
One thing you'll also see that Jnich will take advantage of is because we don't have long beam right now, and we won't until the end of the run, rather unfortunately. So in order to kill, freeze, or not freeze, but in order to kill or break blocks that are way far on the other side of the screen, we'll use missiles as a pseudo long beam to reach those things, since missiles also have infinite range like long beam. This unfortunately creates a dilemma between the most optimal multi uses, because you do need missiles to open red doors later in the run as well.
Yeah, so here's Norfair wrap. Jnich is going to wrap once again to exactly the top of the screen, and then roll off into the screen below and fall all the way down to a screen further below that.
Oof. Oh. You hit the magic pixel.
I feel like that's not a good thing.
No, once you're in here, it's game over. It's a soft lock. There's there's only exactly 1 pixel you can jump up to that'll cause this to happen. And he just happened to hit exactly that, so we have to do a safety up A.
Ah, that's rough. Jnich now at 30 health, which is no good. But in any case, we are chugging along with this Metroid 100% with only 1 death speedrun.
It's sad too. There's legit just 1 pixel that you can happen to fall in. The chance of it happening are rather low, so this doesn't usually happen.
I had no idea that was even a thing.
There's a manip to do it 100% of the time, but the chance of it happening randomly are astronomically low. This is going to change a couple of things besides just putting that Jnich at 30 health that'll make the run unfortunately more difficult for him. Is this will also change the pattern for Ridley, because instead of having the good pattern, which is just long fireballs, we can get into more of this when the time comes to it, of course, but he'll have short fireballs, which will make the fight a little bit more tricky.
Yeah, there we go. So what Jnich basically did there, again, rolled down through 2 screens out of bounds, and then using the breakable blocks to get into that door to, again, using the door just as sort of a screen reset, and is now going to head down this away into what would be green Norfair, but we here in the Metroid speedrunning community have better taste than the color green, so purple it is. That is the ethos behind the route of doing Norfair wrap, is just the color purple is better, obviously.
That's the only reason we do it.
And now we're gonna head on down this way to go pick up missile packs 5 and 6. And yeah, Jnich might be a little out of his element now, because not only is Ridley's pattern gonna change, but some enemies will be behaving differently than what he might be used to. So we'll get to see Jnich adapting on the fly a little bit here, but Jnich is a really, really resourceful and multi-talented Metroid runner. He has top times in pretty much every category, so I wouldn't be too worried about him.
Rather unfortunately in the run now, we have to go back to, or not go back to, we have to grab the worst beam in the game that does save a couple times here and there, but is generally a pain. Wave beam.
Wave beam.
What wave beam's going to do is it'll give us double the damage of the normal beam, which is actually 4 times the damage of ice beam, and it'll also be able to shoot at your legs and go through certain blocks. But it comes at the disadvantage of not actually shooting the things in front of you, and also slightly decreasing the range at which you shoot at.
Yep. That's just a hole in the floor. Don't think about how that lava works. Here's wave beam.
One interesting thing to note is you wouldn't see this in normal Deathless unless someone was soft resetting, but the seahorses that aren't shooting are a consequence of Jnich being on the good, bad Ridley pattern. So it's because he died, he's getting this pattern of the no-shoot seahorses, which I think is kind of interesting. This
How
only
does that
happens
work? Because I can't imagine that was intentional.
No, it's because there are different like global patterns. Oop, Jnich doing a little bomb clip here.
Ooh.
He's got it. Oop.
Very nice. And then going for
There
another
we go.
clip there. Bridge, can you explain those clips? I honestly have no idea how they work.
Yeah,
So.
the clips work with, so it only works when there's no block like directly above the block you're trying to clip through. What happens is Samus's height when going into ball when coming out of the morph ball, Samus's height is slightly inside of the block, and if you jump, you can go all the way through it. But if there's a block above that block, then that one pushes you back out. So traditionally, here he used a bomb to get him the extra height so that he could just jump right through the block. But otherwise, you just do a quick morph unmorph, get the extra height, and jump straight through it.
Yeah, there's a lot of really tiny optimizations in Hundo, like that clip that as I mentioned earlier. This category gets really deep despite being the longest Metroid category. That really doesn't stop the Hundo runners from... The Hundo runners, I say as if I'm not one of them. It really doesn't stop us from finding a bunch of ways to reset. Subpixels question mark?
No, that's because jumping through lava is kind of weird. Depending on where you are in the lava, from the top and the bottom of it, it'll stunt your height. If you jump from the surface of the lava, you'll get a full jump. If you jump from the bottom of it, you'll get a full jump. But there's a parabolic, shape between the top of the lava and the bottom of the lava that'll depend on how that will show you how much you stunt your height with a jump. So if you try to jump like in the middle of the lava, then you'll get the most stunted jump, and he just happened to jump in the worst part of it. But there are a lot of annoying subpixel jumps as soon as we get high jump.
Oh, yes. It wouldn't be a speed run without being angry at subpixels.
So right now, Jnich actually doesn't have enough missiles to grab high jump and screw attack, so he's going to need to get lucky with these bugs here, or he's going to have to farm. It's just a thing you're going to have to deal with in Hundo categories, that sometimes you're just going to get unlucky in Norfair unless you... Oh, there he goes. He has enough now.
Woo!
It just happens in Norfair where you get screwed over with missiles.
Yeah, like I said about the randomness, you have no guarantee of getting a missile drop available to you in a room, let alone actually getting it if it's there. So you can get screwed, but no big deal. We got here, and we are gonna pick up another item now.
Yeah, screw attack. It's a blessing and a curse. It's nice that you can just kind of jump through most of the enemies. Even if you can't kill them, you can just jump through them if they're like invincible. It comes with unfortunate side effects, such as causing a lot of lag, and especially in Norfair and Ridley's Lair, lag is a really big deal if you're looking to save time. So you have to really balance when you actually use screw attack and cause lots of lag, or use a different method in order to have the most optimal way of getting through a room.
Yeah, when you speedrun this game, you honestly get like desensitized to lag in this game because it's pretty much lagging all the time. Like, you'll be caught off guard when it's not lagging at all. Especially in certain rooms where it literally just goes half speed the entire time, and that's just normal gameplay. Lag management is huge in NES Metroid runs, especially Hundo, where it adds up so much. Nice little optimization here. Unmorphing off the ledge, and then doing an unmorph jump in order to break that block early. The way unmorph jumps work is, when you unmorph, the game considers you on the ground, basically no matter what, until you move left or right, at which point it thinks, maybe I should actually check whether or not they're on the ground. So you can unmorph, not move horizontally, and then just jump. So that gets taken advantage of quite a few times in the Hundo route, and in pretty much every category in Mother Brain's room, because it's a super useful technique.
So we're going to finally get the one and only Eve Tank and Norfair, and this will greatly decrease our chances of
small
dying.
feat that Jnich survived that, starting with 30 health. No small feat, but he's essentially safe for the rest of the run now. I say essentially because this game is real mean.
Hey guys, this is Max. Can I interrupt you guys for something really freaking cool?
You can!
Alright, so, one, because I don't like Vin to commentate his own donation, but he just dropped a whomping $100 on the... And he says, for all the people that gave their time during the marathon, for the staff that gave their time and efforts and love and into this marathon, let's break 2K, let's go.
Oh,
And
thanks,
immediately following that, Gromfaloon dropped $54.45, saying
Grom!
XOXO,
We love Grom.
pushing us in the 2K mark. So we just smashed the goal that smashed the goal that smashed the other goal that was set for due to the other goal being smashed. And Magus1 just also donated $5. Says, I've got to at least donate to the marathon at least once. Well, and I've just got to pass on my marathon luck to someone. Trust me, I don't want it. So thank you so much, guys, for all the support. And we beat the 2K, and we still got lots to go. Take it away back, Metroid people.
That's awesome. Good money for good cause is good. Illustrious commentary. A quick note about something that we unfortunately didn't get to talk about there, the triple bomb jump into a screen wrap. Bomb jumping in this game, you basically just tap down to morph and then start holding shoot at the right timing, and you'll basically just get that triple bomb jump for free. Combine that with an unmorph jump, you can jump up really high, and what Jnich basically did there was jump through the door transition on the wrong side of the screen because the game was in vertical scrolling mode, but going through a door put it back in horizontal. And then used that technique to go over and get an item pickup. It's as technical as it sounds. But anyways, now we're in Ridley's lair. We got some cool music and lots of flies.
Yep, we're just going down to grab the bottom missiles down here really quick, and then we're going to head out through and circle around and fight Ridley. It'll be an interesting thing since you have to fight Ridley with long beam, or not long beam, wave beam, and the bad pattern, which makes it a little bit more difficult.
Oh,
not
yeah.
Truly,
Oof.
for the most part, it's just going to be tanking most of his hits, since you can't really freeze the short fireballs, but we'll see some adjustment when he gets to Ridley.
That's missile pack, I believe, number 8 there?
Mm-hmm. I guess now I don't have to deal with bad pattern Ridley.
Wait, did something happen when I looked away for like a second?
I think he up-A'd.
Well, hey, he's already died
So-
once, so might as well take advantage of it. So, it's been sort of a conception in the community that patterns after your first randomization or your first death are randomized. That's not completely true. In terms of the boss pattern, there's actually a 4-element cycle. So if you're on a good pattern and you die, you can up-A 3 times to get the pattern that you want, for example. So I believe Jnich has decided to up-A once to set back on the good Ridley pattern, taking advantage of his knowledge and skill of the 100% deaths category to sort of sub out that route change, and that should put him on a good Ridley pattern. It'll be slightly different than the good Ridley pattern TM, but for Ridley intents and purposes, it's pretty much exactly the same. Nice little unmorph jump there, and now we're heading over this away to pick up another missile.
I was just reading chat, and to answer your question, Veen, it's a little bit complicated. There's 2 different types of patterns that are going on. There's the global boss patterns, which dictate more than just the bosses, and then there's the localized enemy patterns. The localized enemy patterns are determined by which way the enemy before it are moving, like left or right, up, down, or existing or not, while the global patterns are decided when you power on your NES, and only change when you're doing a soft reset or you die.
Yep. That is unique to the US version of Metroid. But yeah, Bridge mentioned a little bit earlier the fact that you can manipulate enemies by their facing and spawn state. You can manipulate the enemies that show up in future existences of that sprite slot. But we've got good Ridley pattern now, so what Jnich is going to do is screw attack straight through Ridley, pop off all the missiles, and then wave beam away. So it's important to note in this game that the fastest way of shooting is not just mashing shoot, because as long as you're holding down the shoot button in this game, any change of state of the controller causes a shot to fire, and while you're holding down the shoot button, you get an auto fire added in there too. So what Jnich basically did there was hold shoot, mash select, and up, because with wave beam in the Ridley fight, you can actually hit on up because of the hitbox width. So between the shot auto fire, the select mashing, and the up mashing, Jnich got like 3 times as many bullets as he would have gotten just standard mashing. Nice little unmorphed jump there. That was E-Tank number 5. In true NES Metroid 100% fashion, we have killed Ridley and stolen his stuff, and now we're leaving.
I think he's going to have to grab 1 extra missile since he had to do a reroute for the pattern.
He hasn't done the one...
Like the first one you'd normally do.
Yeah.
But he's getting there. He had to do a detour because of the pattern thing with the initial soft lock in Norfair.
Mm-hmm. This is the ballroom, but backwards in this category.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is the right way to do it. So
half empty, half full.
I think the way Jnich does this next climb, we'll get our first case of subpixel jumps, which are very annoying. They happen right. That was a subpixel jump. He got it, but I think that's the only one he's good. There's another one, and he gets both of them. But depending on what your subpixel alignment is, which change on all sorts of different circumstances, for certain heights, you will just sometimes miss a jump, even if you hold A for the entire time, and there's nothing you can really do about that. It's rather unfortunate, and it can be very frustrating, especially when it happens twice in a row, but it's something you have to just deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're getting the last missile in Ridley's lair now.
Yeah, it's sort of a thing with NES Metroid. This game had a lot of really cool ideas and unique things, but it was a relatively early game in the NES life cycle in 86, I believe.
Yeah, 86.
It's not the earliest, but nonetheless, this game had very lofty design ideals, and it sort of ended up working out that because of that and because of the technological limitations and developmental prowess of the time, everything in this game comes with a price. The wave beam makes it harder to shoot things that are close to you. The ice beam, if you fire multiple shots, it'll unfreeze, which is a pain because of the multiple shot change controller state shenanigans. High jump has subpixels. Screw attack is not inconsistent, but very difficult to work with, so on and so forth. So being a Metroid speedrunner is really learning to navigate those difficulties, especially for 100%. That sentence sounded like there was going to be more, but there was not. That was my game design ramble.
No, I mean, honestly, all the upgrades in this game feel like they're just as annoying to get as their advantages are.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. So now we're out of Ridley's lair, and now we're going to go basically do the right half of Norfair. There's 7 more missile packs in here, as well as another ice beam, and I think that's it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think there's a difference between the yellow label version. I could be wrong on that. I believe
no. I think it's just a reprint.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's just a reprint. The only difference,
as I recall from Metroid McFly talking about this, I think he has both, and didn't mention any differences. So
I think the only differences between US and Japan versions.
Yeah, when you speedrun NES Metroid, you speedrun on the US version. The US version is the only version that has the boss cycle patterns only reset or only cycle on death. In the Japanese version, everything is basically frame randomness based. So it's a pretty heavy disadvantage for speedrunning.
So far, Jnich got all the subpixel runs, or jumps. Don't want to jinx it too early because there's still a couple more, but he's on good pace. This is kind of like, I remember Mazzy, another speedrunner, he likes to call this is the area of the room where the game designers just kind of gave up on hiding the missiles, because there's just 3 missile packs in a row here. We'll see later that there's just 2 missile packs in a row and they're all the same room. So
I don't think one thing we really talked about in the way this game is structured, it's made of a bunch of the same 15 by 16 block rooms, just repeated. So if you're wondering why a lot of things in this game look very samey, it's because they are.
Yeah. When
they just reuse this exact same missile room again. Here's 2 more. This is missiles 14 and 15, I believe.
One interesting thing to note that you would never experience is all the solid block rooms in Norfair all have bomb tunnels in them, while the other ones in different areas of the game don't. So if you try to wrap through them anywhere, then you'll get soft locked in a ball tunnel. Fun fact, which is why you can't just wrap through the Norfair area the same way you would another wrap like Ice Beam.
Neat.
Here we are going to grab the Ice Beam again.
Here comes some swag. Here comes some swag. It's not actually swag because it doesn't save time, but I don't care! Slick, another use of the bomb clip there. You can just go right through there, and we have Ice Beam again.
Yep, the beams don't stack unless you're long beam, so we got rid of wave beam, thankfully, and now we can just freeze things.
Thankfully. God. Such an improvement.
We didn't see too much of wave beam giving Jnich a hard time, but it happens a lot more often in PB attempts than
make no mistake. Wave beam is wave mean. Send tweet.
Wave beam. Besides this, we're almost done with Norfair. We only have to grab 2 more missiles, and then we're done with Ridley's lair and Norfair, and then we'll be on to just Kraid's lair, and then the rest of Brinstar, and then we're essentially done in terms of item pickup. So, nothing too much more to it. You can get Smoke Monstered in this room, and Smoke Monstered is just a case of when the blocks are respawning off-screen in the same position that they are on-screen, just in the off-screen room. It'll make more sense when we get to something known as the Kraid climb after we kill Kraid, where there's just a vertical line of breakable blocks. But
wait, that's what causes the random screw yous in Kraid climb?
Yeah, it's because the blocks...
Smoke Monster! I mean, you make some cool tech products, but geez, dude, why'd you have to ruin Metroid?
It's because the blocks below you are breaking.
That's the best trick in the run.
The blocks below you that you broke are respawning on the exact part where you are in the screen, so you get damaged while it respawns.
Great, thanks, Metroid.
It's very annoying, but especially since it can just push you in the wrong direction, which we're going to see exemplified in the Kraid climb, which is just the best part of this.
Oh yeah, best part of the run, easily. Everyone loves Kraid climb.
Subpixels screwed Jnich out of that jump there.
Shakes fist at Subpixels.
It's really nice because unfortunately, they do make acceleration a lot less choppy, but oh boy, are they very annoying for speed running purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And just like that, we're done with Norfair. It was a nice time, but we don't have any business here anymore. Jnich is the true roles for trolls. Thanks, Weaker.
Yeah, so next up on our Next up on our route here, we're basically just going to be heading back to the other side of Norfair to go to Kraid's Lair. Along the way, Jnich is going to do some more enemy manipulation, but I think in the meantime, we do have time for a donation read.
Yep, if we have any.
Oh, sorry about that. I was.
It's fine.
I'm serious. I was in La La Land. I heard you say everything. We do have a couple more donations.
I mean, I get it. This game is mesmerizing to watch played well.
I'm serious. I was just staring off into space. I don't know if this one was read. Magius1 donated $5. I've got at least donate to the marathon at least once. Well, and I've just got to pass my marathon luck to someone. Trust me, I don't want it. That might have been read, I think, actually. Mitch3A donated $5 and says follow Mazimov.
Hey, thanks, Mitch. And yeah, follow Mazimov.
Follow Mazzy, for real. Mazimov actually donated $17.22. It says, we should have an incentive to reach 2.5K. Jnich's baby gotta do Movember. I don't know what that is, but there you go.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Nice little screw attack lag optimization there. You may have noticed at the start of the fall in the blue column, Jnich missiled a Ripper. That was an enemy manipulation to get the scree that would let him get to the ceiling E-tank to spawn. Like I said, you can manipulate enemies from like 2 or 3 rooms away in the right circumstances, because those enemies share a sprite slot, and there was no enemy in between that had that slot also, and yeah. So now we're in Kraid's Lair. Here we're going to be picking up the last of pretty much everything except for Long Beam.
Yeah.
What we're basically going to do in terms of route is go around the left, go all the way down, go fight Kraid, and then climb back up the right and do a little bit of cleanup. There's like an entire giant chunk of Kraid's Lair that has nothing in it. Just as a fun fact, because Kraid's Lair is designed to be a maze and to totally screw you over. Unfortunately, I do not believe we will be seeing fake Kraid in this route, which is just like a real shame.
Yeah, unless Jnich decides to do it. It only loses about 25 seconds.
I mean, I feel like it's worth it.
Fake Kraid is best Kraid.
Fake Kraid is best Kraid.
Can you do undo on the fake boss? I agreed, Mitch. Honestly, the world record in this category doesn't do it, so it shouldn't be counted.
Yeah. Whoever did that is a cheater and should be banned from speedrun.com,
Oh,
and I
he's doing
believe
it.
all of the moderators for the Metroid page and their negligence should also be banned.
We're going to see a fake Kraid here.
Yes. Thank you, Jnich, for giving us what the people want. Fake Kraid! Yeah! Oh, he didn't.
There we go. A fun little tidbit about Fake Kraid. While he takes only 1 missile or 1 screw attack to kill, but if you try to kill him with normal shots, he takes 192 hits in order to kill.
Yep, Fake Kraid, so you probably have noticed that there's like, there's like recolored versions of enemies, and those recolored versions are twice as strong. Fake Kraid is the twice as strong version of Kraid, but they hard-coded it to take only 1 missile. Here's Kraid. Since we have a ton of health, we don't need the missile tank, so what we're basically gonna do is hold left, hold shoot, and yeah, that was it. That was Kraid. Kill Kraid. Now we're gonna take his stuff. Pretty standard Metroid fare. Then a nice little optimization here with high jump and unmorph. We're gonna jump right into that door frame, go into the upper half of the door frame so that fly goes right over our heads, and now we're gonna head up the right side of Norfair to every Metroid speedrunner's favorite room in the entire game. It's just the best room. It's just the best room.
That's pretty...
So this is Kraid Climb.
If we're unlucky,
Yeah.
we'll see the smoke monster attack. Although he's climbing it quite fast, so I don't think we will.
Yeah, Jnich's on a really nice rhythm. That was really impressive. That's harder than it looks. Maneuvering with your head under those blocks and getting jumps off and stuff is really challenging, but that was really good. Another missile pack. I believe we have, just 1 left to go?
Yep. 1 missile pack and 1 E-tank. It's all we have, and then long beam, of course. But
Well, I mean, long beam is too precious to be counted among the regular items, so I reserve that its own spot on the checklist.
The L stands for
jump
best.
under those flies. Another unmorphed jump there. That was a really nice little strat.
This might be, yeah. Grum is quite right. A lot of people, I think, run the deaths, and especially all boss, so they don't have to deal with the crate climb.
Yep. Can confirm. That is extremely accurate. I ran all bosses deathless, like, I did like 5 or 6 attempts after like running through the category with some save states. Got a good time. I was like, well, I'm not doing crate climb anymore. So here's our last E-Tag. Nice little, more precise than it looks on that bomb jump. You have to position yourself on the right half of the block and place the bomb in midair in order to get the height that you need to get over that ledge. And from a manipulation way back a couple rooms ago, Jnich set it up so that the like little slimy boy enemies, I don't know what those are, would stay out of his way. Jnich not risking the sub-pixels. Smart man.
There's, I believe, only one left, unless he doesn't do it. So
unless it's there, unless it isn't.
I don't blame him for not doing it if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Although he's gotten pretty good on the sub-pixels. He's only gotten attacked by them once. And that was great.
There we go. Cool, and now we're done with Kraid's Lair. All we have left on our check now we have oh my god. Now all we have left on our checklist is to get Long Beam, and then we can go give Mother Brain the what for.
I always like to say the L stands for best. Truly does. It truly does. So Jnich killing the Screes at the beginning of that room was a manipulation. That's like the first manipulation every runner learns, because it's like right there at the beginning of the game. And you have to do it like 3 times in some categories. Basically what that does is it prevents certain enemies from spawning in inconvenient spots. Our final blue climb here, taking advantage of all of the tools we have, using Screw Attack to go right through enemies, using High Jump to skip, using High Jump to skip platforms. We're just heading straight up to Long Beam. Ooh, boy. It's a shame that we don't have this beam in the rest of the route. It'd make for such more efficient
it would make for some really
rooms.
interesting routing, for sure. But it's just so far out of the way to get when you can literally just get it on the way to Mother Brain.
One interesting thing to note is that Jnich technically has enough missiles to just go straight on through Torian without needing to farm. I believe it'll put us at 81 if he doesn't farm and doesn't waste any missiles. Because when you're in Torian, you need the 20 missiles to get through the red doors, plus the 73 for the Zebedites and the Mother Brain room.
And 5 to get into Torian in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it's 33 for Mother Brain and 40 to get through all the Zebedites. But I would be very surprised if Jnich didn't farm, honestly. But, I mean, he is really good at this game, so we'll see.
The Zebedites do regrow, so if you linger too long, then you'll have to use more missiles.
Essentially, every Metroid speedrun pretty much just comes to a head at Mother Brain. Mother Brain's room as a speedrunner is beautiful. It's overwhelming and terrifying and stupidly unfair and impossible, and oh my god, it's incredible. So now we're in Turian, so I don't know if Jnich is going to be farming, like we just said. It takes 20 missiles to get through here. But Metroids work differently than every other enemy in the game. Metroids have a 25% chance of dropping a missile pack and a 75% chance of dropping health. And it is frame-based, so if you kill 2 Metroids with the same missile, you get the same drop. So, also Metroids give packs of 30 health and 15 missiles instead of 2 and 5. So farming in Turian is a lot easier, but yeah, Jnich is just heading right on through Turian. I mean, we have every upgrade in the game. Mother Brain cannot hold a candle to us at this point, for sure.
Yeah, I'll just... Let's see this going. The Rinka is being a pain.
Yeah. Jnich taking like a 10 health hit from a Metroid there because whatever. Is he farming? Not farming those. Looks like he's just going for it. He's being brave. So Mother Brain's room.
There we go.
Oh, here's the farm. Oof.
Well.
I mean, he technically has enough.
He could. I wouldn't.
That's rough.
Oh, there we go.
Now we're good. All right, let's go. So Mother Brain's room. Jnich has to get through a bunch of these Zebatites. The Zebatites have 8 health. You can only hurt them with missiles. And if you leave them alone for too long, they can regenerate up to 7 of that 8 health. Rinkas are spawning randomly, such that there's 3 on screen at any given time. The cannons basically work in cycles, and when you've speedrun Mother Brain's room enough, you start to get a feel for how they're working and can duck and weave through them pretty swiftly. Like I mentioned earlier, unmorph jumping is super helpful here, allowing you to just like keep your missile cannon right on those Zebatites. And now Mother Brain, 1 missile to break the glass, 32 to kill. Jnich taking advantage of the position of nice damage boost there. Holy heck. Taking advantage of the positions of power here right in front of Mother Brain and in the Zebatite. Worth noting that only the upper half of Mother Brain's hitbox actually takes damage. Jnich isn't like the ideal cycle right now, although since I've said that isn't true anymore. But this is pretty good. Jnich's all about done. In Hundo, basically, you just want to alternate between position of power and face tanking. Jnich dabbing on Dan's pit there a little bit. Shoutouts to our boy Follow the Dan. You should follow the Dan. And now it's time for escape. Time is going to be when Jnich gets on the elevator at the top here. Escape is escape. You jump up blue platforms and you be stressed because you just finished the hardest part of the speed run.
Well, true runs die.
Yeah. Say 46:54
I believe he started also. The timer started 12 seconds ahead, so it's 12 seconds faster.
That's not bad. Is that better than my PB? I don't remember what my PB is. Jnich's real good at this game, though. Like we said, that run was really smooth. Jnich came back from that death without pretty much any hesitation, set up a better pattern, and just trucked right through. Good job, Jnich.
Yeah, it was a really great run. Well executed. GG to Jnich. Metroid's a girl. What?
Wow. Wild.
Who would have known?
So, yeah, this has been NES Metroid. Video game good. Thanks for watching. Everyone make sure you go follow Jnich87 and Terrifying Bridge on Twitch for high-level Metroid gameplay. And I guess if you really want, you can follow me for mostly just Final Fantasy XIV, I guess. Everyone should try speedrunning Metroid. That's actually going to be my plug. This game is the best, and there's wonderful tutorials for all bosses, and for any percent by our boys Mazimov, Metroid McFly, and Covey, I believe, also has one. This game's really fun. It's really hard, but it's really rewarding, so you should play it, and it's better than Super Metroid. Don't at me.
If you don't like 100% either, then we also have McFly, of course, as previously mentioned, and a nice, really good any percent runner is CHX42, which is fantastic at this game and is really climbing up there to the sub 10 in any percent.
Yeah. And go commission Gromfalloon for art if you have money to spare left over from donating to this marathon. But also, you shouldn't give money to charity. Also, you shouldn't, give money to charity. Please do give money to charity.
That's a sad misquote.
Can't wait for someone who hates me on the internet to clip that, post it, and be like, Proto Magical Girl hates charity. Anyways, yeah, donate to Marathon, play Metroid, follow Jnich. Thanks for watching.
Thank you guys so much for the commentary, and thank you, Jnich, for that awesome run of Metroid. That was really cool, and I learned a lot. Coming up next, we have Quackshot, starring Donald Duck. Mad Mega X381 is going to be running it. We don't have any new donations to read as of yet. We still have one challenge though up. It's for Undertale. You can donate to Hug the Goat or don't hug the goat, but everybody knows that they're gonna hug the goat. So anyway, remember about our raffle prizes that are up. That Rockman 7 Repo Part is actually really cool. It was donated by the Vault. I wish I had a picture, but I don't. But anyway, let's hit it with some tunes.